Hello, everyone. Vic here with my co-host, the girl from the Blair Witch Project. Oh, well, no, this is actually a Nick Arcana. That's definitely Blair Witch face, though, with that lighting for sure. So we need a bunch of snot just like flying at the screen here. As you can see, what we're doing today is we're ranking the Final Destination series. We've done it before, but this time we can include part 6, which we have both seen and both enjoyed. And we're going to have a bigger deep dive, of course, on part 6 in the future. So it won't be a complete review of the movie today. We're just putting that in our rankings. So, Nick, you ready for this? We're going to rank them from worst to best, starting with our number 6 on the list.
Part 4.
Yeah, I got to say, I don't think that either of us are going to have much of a problem putting this at number 6. Bottom of the barrel,
Now,
part 4.
I will say I did just rewatch right before we went and saw Bloodlines. I did rewatch all the Final Destinations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're a little more fresh in my mind probably than you, but you've seen them and seen most -4 enough that I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, I've seen each one multiple times. Unfortunately, I've even seen part 4 multiple times. Part 4, I have to say that I keep hoping that on rewatches it gets better for me, but it's the same experience. I still feel like it's a complete trash movie. I hated it from day one when I saw it in theaters. Paid money for this piece of trash. Okay, listen. There's way worse horror movies than part 4. I just feel like it's the one letdown, the one movie in the series that I feel like goes off the rails. Didn't really like the characters, didn't really care for most of the deaths.
So yeah, I definitely don't care for the characters. I don't care for how they figure out the rules, and I don't care about how they try to interpret the rules in this one, even though it doesn't work in their minds. But and then of course the CGI is just terrible.
Yeah,
I mean CGI hurt my brain.
and I'm correct, right? There's absolutely no Tony Todd in this 4th one, right?
This is the only one that does not have Tony Todd in any shape or form.
Damn it, man. That is just unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Okay, yeah, listen, every series does have one that maybe is a weaker point. I mean, obviously in Child's Play, you could say maybe Cult of Chucky would be my weak point. Obviously, no question, Scream 3 in the Scream series. There's no other contender except Scream 3 in that franchise to be the worst. It's got to be Scream 3. Me and Nick both agree wholeheartedly.
Have we
Scream
done
3.
a Scream series? The ranking.
All right.
No,
Well,
we have. I'm pretty sure people hate me for it.
Well, my point is there's always a weak point in every series. Final Destination, its weakest point. It's not the weakest of all the series, but it is a weak entry, part 6. Now, this is where things get very interesting, though, because this is one of those series when you remove that part 4, the rest of them, Nick, are pretty popular. We're probably gonna have some disagreements with the rest of this list. It's gonna be very interesting to see where we fall on these other 5 movies. Because if you poll the Final Destination fans, you'll get different answers about like what's their favorite, what's the order. There's no like set rankings consensus here. This is gonna be pretty interesting to see what we come up with. The next one's number 5. Do you have an idea of where you're going with number 5 so far?
So I do, and I get the feeling people are going to hate me for it. Now, I do. Now, I will say I do like this movie.
Yeah,
but for me, Bloodlines is the next one.
Oh wow, coming in hot, man.
I told you people are going to hate me for this, and it is well acted and all that, but there is still things that I prefer more on the other movies than I did this one. I do like that it goes out of the realms with the whole Bloodlines bit, but it's just for me, it's again, the parts that we get CGI is so glaringly there, that it takes me out of it. And then you also get the ending of the movie. That's all I'll say to it, honestly. But
wow, yeah, Bloodlines I've seen online. I know it's fresh in everybody's mind, so sometimes there's a recency bias. The hot new fresh thing comes out, people love it. And then as it settles into the rest of the series, you get some more, I guess, different opinions. It's kind of like it stops having that new, fresh, new glow about it. So we haven't gotten that stage with Bloodlines yet. It's still in the honeymoon period where people really aren't nitpicky about the flaws yet. But as people are going to start like watching it over and over again, it comes from theater down to, online or on streaming, and repeated viewings tend to like become, they bring out the nitpickiness in people. They start seeing the flaws. They start noticing, hey, this isn't as good as it was in the theaters. Some movies still hold up very well under that scrutiny, but Bloodlines hasn't gotten there yet, so we don't know. But so far, at least, I've seen people rank it as their favorite in the series. I've even seen number one. I think I'm a little bit higher.
Also ranked Scream 6 as number one until it finally came out in DVD. Now you're getting, as you're bringing up, you're out of your honeymoon phase. I'm trying not to think honeymoon phase. I'm thinking of how I'm going to want to rewatch these movies if I rewatch them again. Which one am I more going for? I guess the best thing to say.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair point. I think that if you can remove the recency bias and just look at it objectively, and that's your opinion on it, then I got to respect that. I'm going to go in a different direction, though. And I think what I'm about to do is going to be very, very unpopular. Although, I guess we should preface, though, maybe Nick will agree with this. These last 5 choices, like, none of these movies we dislike. For me, it's just picking like what I like the most, but I like all these movies.
Yeah.
So it's not like ranking something bottom of the list means you're dissing it. It's just you like the other ones better. So
yeah, exactly.
That said, I'm going with Part 2 at my number 5. And
going down the line, I'm not surprised about this at all.
It's kind of like, I think Part 2 now, the conflict for me is that I think Part 2, in a way, it has the most memorable premonition opening sequence, because the highway scene is probably, I think, the one that sticks in people's head the most. I think that log thing has had such an impact on, listen, if I'm behind a log truck, I'm changing lanes. And I think everybody feels that way. And that's all because of this movie. So I think that opening premonition is probably the best in the series, or the most memorable. But after that, the rest of the movie, on rewatches, I don't find myself liking it as much as the other ones. So that's the conflict there, is that I feel like it has the strongest opening premonition, but I feel like the rest of the movie is just not there. And also, killing off Alex with a brick to the head. I know that you weren't bringing back the actor, but come on. I mean, it could have done something better than that, but I still like it. It's just, that's the thing.
Speaking of controversy, put number 1 as my number 4 spot.
Oh, wow.
And
Nick is coming in hot with these picks, man.
Well, again, it's not the fact that I don't see much wrong with the movie. It's, for me in this case, it's the acting. The acting being very first movie, you kind of got your high school teen slasher in a sense. Compared to the rest of the series, for me, the acting is actually subpar.
Wow. Okay. That's fair. Man, you know what? It gets very hard for me at this point. Now, this is actually interesting because I did recently watch a couple of them within the last 6 months. And one of them I changed my opinion on. I still like it a lot, but I was a lot higher on Part 3. When we did our review series last year, I was really high on Part 3. And one of the reasons is because I think I like the main girl. She's probably my favorite protagonist in the series, Wendy. I like Wendy.
You just like Winstead. You have a crush on her, man.
No,
and it's fair. Don't get me wrong, it's fair. She's a beautiful one.
No, both things can be true, though. I actually like the character though a lot too. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. I like her and I like the character, but I've always liked her as an actress too. So I don't know. I do like that, but on the rewatch, I do have to say the movie is not as strong as I remembered. Still really good, but I think liking her character and basically liking that final couple as like the strongest protagonist maybe in the series, I feel like that maybe clouded to the rest of the characters really not doing much. And it has a couple of good death scenes, but the roller coaster scene wasn't as fun as I remembered on the last rewatch. So that has moved down in my rankings now. Part 3 has moved down, although I still like it a lot.
That's fair. My next one, I don't think is going to be really all that controversial, and that's part 5 for me.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same thing I said. Why are you moving 4 up?
Sorry about that.
Fuck, man.
I was like, wait, we've changed our mind on part 4.
I see that. I didn't change my mind on part 4, man. No, for me, it's kind of the same thing I said about 6 and 4, and it's the CGI mainly. The CGI is glaring. It is better in this one than it is in, say, 4. But, the CGI and a little bit of the story. The story is a little off to me, but it is still, in my opinion, one of the more better ones. It's a fun watch. And that's really all why it's over 1. It's just a better watch for me and a little bit better acted.
Okay, fair point. Well, wow, our lists are radically different. I will say that. We are coming in hot here with a dramatically different list.
That's probably the more fun ones. We usually agree about a lot of them.
Well, this is one of those series that, like I said, it's once you get past, like, I think everybody agree that part 4 is the worst, but once you get past that, it gets to all personal preference here. Okay. I am going to try to analyze part 6 like you did, without the recency bias. We'll do our bigger deep dive, but like Nick, I didn't really like the ending thing as much. What happens to our main characters, I wasn't a big fan of. But I do think they did something different by having it focus on a family instead of a group of random characters. So the deaths do have more of an emotional impact because you're focusing on a family. So I think that was a good thing they did with that. And you do have that amazing final Tony Todd scene as well, which I think was a great send-off for Tony Todd. So on rewatches, this could move up or down. Death is taking over our stream here. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Death is like, actually, it's probably Tony Todd. It's like, none of y'all put me as number 1. Okay, I see how y'all are.
Death saw your list and said, man.
That's like, no, this fool is wrong on so many levels.
Maybe he hates both of our lists. So you got it all wrong. Part 4 is the best one now.
Right. But no, this 1 and 2 is hard for me because I do like both these movies, but I have to put number 2 as my second pick of the list.
Okay.
And I agree with you. It is the best opening premonition. It is the movie I say gets the formula completely right. But but the scenes that didn't involve death, and there is some weird direction and acting choices that I was not a fan of on my past rewatch as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. For me also, it's hard to rank these final 2, but I think people know where my heart lies with the franchise. I'm going with number 5 and number 2. This one I did watch very recently, number 5, and I do think that opening whole bridge scene is fantastic. The CGI thing, starting the part 4, part 5, part 6, the CGI deaths is just a thing. Now you kind of have to accept that it's kind of gone there. With the first 2 movies, well, let's say the first 3 movies, we basically, for the most part, were practical. But with 4, 5, and 6, you do have that kind of blood splatter CGI that's just kind of the norm now. So I kind of accepted that. That said, part 5, man, I like the characters. I like the new wrinkle, at least the attempted wrinkle of, you can try to kill somebody and you get their lifespan. And then you got the surprise twist of this being a prequel to the first movie. I think that is a fun twist that I did not see coming. So definitely a solid movie for me.
Well, that only leaves my number 1 pick as number 3, as Final Destination 3. And reason being, I know I said the second movie did perfect the formula. This one really didn't try. I will say this one didn't try anything new, but it did learn from the second one to keep that formula together. I guess the best way to say it. I like the acting better in this one than the second one. Nowhere near is it a perfect movie. It's just it has a little bit more fun aspect for me than all the others. Plus, it is also the first time we get like a human villain in it with fucking McKinley.
Oh yeah.
And also to anyone saying Wendy is still alive, y'all are just completely wrong. Not objectively wrong. Y'all are just wrong.
Folks, for all the Wendy hopefuls, I disagree with Nick completely.
No,
I think there's a chance. There is a chance that she somehow got off that train. A small chance.
She somehow got off the already moving train that yes, we only saw the premonition, but we heard the aftermath because they're not going to reshoot the whole thing. If she was still alive, she would have came back in. She did.
Wendy fans, keep hope alive. That's all I'm going to say. Keep hope
Y'all
alive.
just want Mary Elizabeth Winstead back.
Well, listen, obviously that leaves my choice. This might be somewhat nostalgia. When I watched the first Final Destination back in, I think I was in high school, it was the big movie that came out at that time. Everybody was talking about it. Nobody had seen anything like that. Death as a character. You get all the cool setups in the first movie. I actually disagree with Nick. I actually feel like Alex is like the best acted protagonist in terms of how he is on the plane, his fear there, his not overreaction, his correct reaction of like the plane's gonna explode. I just feel like the acting for me hit the spot. I like most of the death scenes. I like Ali Larter. I like the whole train sequence. I'm just maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know, but for me, I'm always gonna go with that first one as my favorite. So
I will remind you that Alex is also the worst protagonist because he didn't mention shit to anybody when he saw the clues.
Well, listen, that is not true. All right. Alex put together a whole diagram of the seating chart on the spot, coming up with the whole death's plan. It's just that sometimes when he got the premonition in the moment, he was late to.
He sees. So he had a premonition of him seeing a bus coming straight for him. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're telling me he didn't think to tell the girl to get out of the street?
Listen, a bus driving by could mean anything. And also, she stepped on the street so quickly and she took one street. How close was that bus to the curb that she takes one step into the road and boom, right in the smack dab of the bus? So I don't know. What'll be most interesting, I think, is that as Bloodline settles in and eventually when we do a rewatch, it'll be interesting to see. This is one of those series where I think my mind may change over the years. So we're going to save this, of course, and come back to it. But I got a feeling this list will look different for me within a year or two.
So what he's saying is in 10 years, part 4 is actually going to be his number 1. They knew what they were doing the whole time.
If you come back in 10 years and part 4 is number 1, it means that me and Nick have been cloned by aliens. And that's not us reviewing the movie. That's not us ranking it.
Nowhere near.
Well, for today, we've ranked all 6 movies. Now, there are rumors that they're going to be doing a 7th one also. And with part 6 making bokeh money at the box office, there's no question we'll be getting a part 7. But until then, that's our rankings. Tell us in the comments. Maybe rank yours. Let us know which is your favorite, which is your least favorite. I'm assuming part 4 is your least favorite, but let us know what's beyond that. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit us with a like. Any final words for you, sir? Any final words on this Final Destination ranking?
Yeah, if you start seeing like some kind of weird translucent shadowy figure running through your house, get out of your house.
Fair point. Also, obviously, it goes without saying, log trucks, just change lanes.
Yeah.
Till next time, you guys take care.
Peace.